This month, December 19th, 2013, meeting is called to order. Ms. Washington?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Certainly. Mr. Hurt?
Here.
Mr. Moore? Mr. McGinnis?
Here.
Mr. Bohan? Ms. Washington here. Mr. Hoitzma?
Here.
Mr. Davis? Ooh. Mr. Neal?
Here.
Mr. Barhu?
Here.
Mr. Harris is here. Harper.
Harper here.
Sorry. Mr. Harper is here.
Okay.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Does anyone here, or the minutes from October 24th?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I called in corrections on both the October 24th and November 21st. Rose says she hasn't done them yet, but she will be doing them.
All right.
Just to be on the record that the changes are being made.
The changes will be made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? If there's anyone in the public, in the audience today, please fill out a green form if you wish to speak on any of the items. Secretary, call the first item, please.
We've got minutes from November 24th.
I don't think we did both.
Right.
Motion,
We-
this was for October, let's skip to November.
November.
November 21st.
Motion to approve with changes.
Second.
All right, it's properly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? And we'll go to item number 5. First item, Ms. Washington.
Item number 4, right-of-way street vacation, Sunnyside Avenue, DEV 2013-096.
We'll hear from staff, please.
Thank you. Dennis Mrozek, planner with the City of Daytona Beach. The first item tonight is a request by Roy Illinois to approve the vacation of a 232-foot, 40-foot wide section of Sunnyside Avenue right-of-way located approximately 200 feet west of Nova Road and 200 feet north of Bellevue Avenue. We've got a couple of location maps for you. Again, you can see Nova Road adjacent to the vacation, running north-south, and Bellevue along the south of the property. The vacation area actually sits behind the front lots on Nova Road. One correction that I wanted to point out from your maps, the map showed an additional 8 feet that's not included in the right-of-way vacation request, so we will be modifying the maps and presenting them to the City Commission. So it's just the 8 feet that won't be included. And we've got the location with the parcels and showing you where the zonings are on the adjacent properties. BA to the east and R1B to the west. As far as the Sunnyside vacation request, this is a request that was initiated by the property owner of each side of Sunnyside. After a vacation, each property owner would be entitled to half of the vacated property. In this case, with the property owner being the owner of both sides, all of the property there would be separated to the same property owner. Also, I want to point out letters of no objection from the utility providers was received by the city, and the application was reviewed by city staff and offers no objections to the vacation request. As far as vacation criteria, Land Development Code Article 4, Section 13.3, no street or easement dedicated to the public shall be vacated unless the City Commission determines the property is not required for public use. Staff position is that the unimproved part of the street is not required for public use. The item will go to the City Commission for approval after the recommendation by the Planning Board. Staff does recommend approval of the request to vacate the 232-foot-long, 40-foot wide stretch of Sunnyside Avenue right-of-way. A majority vote by the Planning Board members present and voting is required to recommend approval. And the item is tentatively scheduled to be heard by the City Commission for first reading on February 5th, 2014, and second reading February 19th, 2014. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Any questions of staff?
One question, would that cause any problems for the utility folks to get in there if they needed to get in there?
No, as a matter of fact, the applicant has provided an easement over the existing utilities to allow them to function.
Any other questions? Can we hear from the applicant, please? Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, just for the record, my name is Roy Lanoy. I reside at 139 Coral Circle in South Daytona, and my business is Artesian Pools at 762 South Nova Road. Been there about 38 years now. How can I help you?
How can I help? Board, any questions of the applicant?
I don't have any questions. It's just, this is pretty much like the vacations that we did on the south side of Bellevue before. It's unused property. It puts it back on the tax roll. It puts it for the property owner to maintain it, and the city has no desire for the easement, and there's a utility easement already granted, so I don't have a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Lanoy.
Thank you.
Any public wish to speak in favor or against? I haven't asked this.
Make a motion we approve right-of-way street vacation Sunnyside Avenue development, DEV 2013-096.
Second.
It's been motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Secretary, next item, please.
Yes. Number 5, Land Development Code Text Amendment, amending conditional uses in M4 zoning district, DEV 2013-116.
Mr. Mosey.
Thank you very much. Again, Dennis Mrozek, planner with the city. The next item is the request by Rob Merrill on behalf of Alan Fawcett, Daytona Beach Brewing Company, to amend the Land Development Code, Article 13, Section 3, permitting retail sales in the M4 zoning district to the general public as an accessory use to a brewery in a tap room with conditions. As far as the M4 zoning district, M4 is an industrial zoning district. It is classified as industrial park. A brewery use is currently permitted within the M4 zoning district, so that use is already permitted. As far as the Land Development Code text amendment on conditional uses, the amendment will permit retail sales as an accessory use to the breweries. Retail is limited to the promotional items and beer produced on premises. The tap room is not to exceed 25% the size of the brewery, so it's restricted in the size of the tap room. And as far as parking, additional parking for the retail sales would be required in addition to the wholesaling distribution use or wholesaling manufacturing use. So they would have to demonstrate parking for the site. As far as a recommendation, staff does recommend approval of the amendment request. The text amendment request is tentatively scheduled for the February 5th, 2014 City Commission and February 19th, 2014 second reading public hearing City Commission, and an affirmative vote of 6 by the Planning Board members shall be required to recommend approval to the City Commission. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Can we hear from the applicant, please?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman, Planning Board members. I'm excited to be here tonight with this request. I am a beer enthusiast, and I have Alan Fawcett here with me. I hope you will welcome him to Daytona Beach. He is new to the area, has his business previously in Melbourne area, and we don't have a craft brewery yet in Daytona Beach. He will be the first, and I'm very excited about that. They actually have one in Ormond that opened recently. Actually, two. One is not yet selling their own beer, but the first one is over on Division, And so Daytona is due. We're actually behind Ormond, which I was surprised by, but we've been a while in the making with this. The concept is pretty straightforward. It's happening all over where you can go in and buy a beer in their tap room. You can buy a T-shirt or a hat or something that says Daytona Beach Brewing Company or whatever the company is on it, and that's kind of the gist of it. And when we looked at the Land Development Code, it didn't allow for that, so we're doing a slight adjustment here to allow the tap room and the retail component as a conditional use. Again, the code is, as you know, relatively old, and this concept is relatively new, so once in a while we do these glitch bills. So if you have any questions for me or for Alan, we didn't bring any beer tonight, unfortunately, but we knew you guys had other business on the agenda. but on another occasion, hopefully, we'll be able to treat you to some.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions?
I have a question. Again, looking at it, it seems like we have met all the conditions for required use. My question would be location. I'm not sure it didn't state the location.
Well, this is not a site-specific request. It's an amendment to the code to allow the tap room component of a brewery as a conditional use of
In the zone.
Exactly, in the M4. So Alan actually has a site that he's negotiating a lease with right now in the M4 zoning district, and actually there's two he's talking to, but one that I think we're pretty close to.
Okay.
We'll give you the location when we have it, because certainly, if I could advertise the location here, it's free advertising, but.
No,
It's a site that's currently zoned M4.
Yeah, it's zoned M4. It'll be in the newspaper, I'm sure, once it opens.
Okay,
so.
I was not real familiar with the M4 zone and where the location, so that was just.
We could probably show you a map. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
I'll get it
M4 in the industrial areas of town.
Look it up. Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Board? Wait, excuse me. Any public comments? For or against? All right, now, board?
You know, I don't see that it's not a good use for M4 zoning as a, a use. And I would say, while they haven't designated exactly where the buildings want to be, then if that lease doesn't go through, then they'll have options, for other buildings and not be site restricted, but you could move around with the M4 with this proceeding on with regulation.
Okay. No other questions? No statements? Want to have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve Land Development Code text amending conditional use of the M4 zoning district development 2013-116.
Second.
It's been motioned and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Conditional on that they tell us where the building's going to be when they. So we know where to get the sample.
Okay. Next item, please.
Item number 6, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Floodplain Management, DEV 2013-041.
Can we hear from staff?
I'll handle this one. This is, we discussed this briefly last month. In that it's amendment to the Land Development Code, it's going to be a Development Services application request, and we'll continue to process it. This is being done primarily because of changes with the building code, as well as FEMA or it's FDEM, which is the the Florida Department of Emergency Management, and it's updating standards that actually we have to have done very quickly. If we didn't have this hearing tonight, we didn't have our quorum, we would have had to call a special meeting because it's got to be done, or we would lose our National Flood Insurance Program. Mike Garrett is here if you have any questions. He administers at least part of this with the certificates for the elevations, but this has been a whole lot of time working on this. There's been coordination with the state on the various drafts that we've had, and actually there may be some more tweaking, so staff would recommend approval of this, subject to any final changes that still may be needed that don't change the intent of what we've got, but this is basically what we've got in our code and updated for the new model. But try to answer any questions if you have.
I've got a question. Is this, so this coincides with, because the new flood maps come out 2014?
Yes. This is not the maps, but it's needed with, yes.
It coordinates with?
Yeah, the procedures, yes. It's required to be part of the National Flood Insurance Program.
Question now, does this change the boundaries? I know it used to be,
The maps would do that.
Oh, the maps
And the
would
maps
do
are mandated, we don't have a choice about how they calculated those or whatever, but.
okay, because I know the last one I believe was at 95, and it said 95, everything east of 95 was considered flood zone. It used to be Ridgewood.
Well, there's very specific
Okay.
maps throughout the city. I may be able to shed a little bit more, but this is not the maps, this is the procedures. We can
Right.
get you those maps on any
Right.
particular property.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions of staff?
I have one-
All right, sir.
I have one question. I noticed that you use, for instance, a date like January of 1975 and call it a new manufactured home park. Should you just keep doing that forever? That's 40 years ago. And I wonder why you just don't use a term like 30 years and then.
I think just because that's been in the regulations and that kind of established the base, and we didn't want to change that. We didn't want to move it to anything sooner than that. It may have something to do with the model code may say that we can't grandfather in something newer than that as well. I don't know the specifics of that relative to the model anyway.
I noticed this is pretty in-depth as far as information about the flood zone.
Yes, but right now, we have Article 7, which is our environmental regulations, and Section 4 is, and generally they follow the same sections of that, but it's totally rewritten based on the new model.
Fantastic. All right. And we hear from the applicant.
The city is.
That's the city.
So.
So he's handling it all.
Well, if he's here for questions.
For questions.
If anyone has anything.
I'll make a motion to approve land development code text amendment for floodplain management DEB 2013-041.
Second.
Been motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just for the board's general information, because I've just been involved with this with 3 pieces of property, when the flood map changes, 2014, you may find yourself or your house in a flood zone that you weren't in a flood zone
Right.
before.
Right.
But just because FEMA says you're in a flood zone, you have to prove to FEMA that you're not. And there's a process that you can go through, and it costs about $200. And you do an elevation and show that you're not in the floodplain, and you file all that paperwork with FEMA, and then they send you a letter saying that you are not in the flood zone. But if FEMA says it, you have to prove that you're not in it, because their overlay in Atlanta, 1 inch equals 2,000 feet. And if there's any water around you, that's going to catch it, and they're going to say you're in a flood zone. But you can do away with it, and I've done it, for several properties, and it ended up they were not in a flood zone, and they didn't have to pay flood insurance. Of course, you can get flood insurance if you want, but if you have a mortgage, the bank makes you get it. So, but just for your information, it can be done if you want to challenge it.
Where do you find out that you are,
The
that
flood
you are
zone?
changed?
Just go to the flood, like US.
So that's not something we're notified of that when you're changed?
If you have a mortgage, you'll be notified. If you own your property being clear, you won't be notified.
Just
You can go to, I guess it's floodmap.org, and then it'll tell you, if you can type in addresses or whatever, and,
Well, then the
or go to
first time you'll
FEMA.
know-
Go to FEMA.
First time you'll know is when your rate goes up for your flood insurance.
Yeah, or.
Well, like you said, they are sending letters out. Actually, my house falls in one that is going in, and my insurance company sent me a note telling me I was in.
I just got 2 and held today out. Now, I don't know, 14, if will they have to reapply?
I think those letters came out based on the new maps, I think.
Because we used to all be X and Delta Bay, and then it went to.
I know some of Pelican Bay is changing.
It's because of the waterways, and it's because where they do the overlay.
It's a different look,
It
yeah.
goes into the canal. And when there's water in Atlanta, they say that's flood zone. And you gotta prove to them that it's not. So, but there is a process that you can do if you find yourself in that situation.
Good. Good information. Still have to ask this question. Anyone in public in favor of or against? There's nothing to be in favor of or against. Board discussion we've just had. Anyone else care to speak? Motion?
Motion and second.
We have the motion and second.
And the
already.
second was made. And that was carried. Okay.
We got the,
We've got the board.
Yeah, the boards.
Reports.
Downtown Blue Road.
Yes, sir. The Downtown Blue Road Redevelopment Board met December 3rd at 12:05 here in the Commission Chambers. We had roll call, the usual agenda, roll call approval of the October minutes, and the one item we had on the agenda for discussion was the Marina District Planning Grant update. There was a grant that was applied for with the CRA of Holly Hill and the CRA for the Blue Road. It was approved back in September for $35,000, which meant each city received $12,500. The application was done by Planning Solutions Corporation, or it was submitted. And with this grant, they are to the work is to improve the Marina and the Route District.
All right.
We adjourned at 1:15.
1:15. Midtown.
Okay, I attended the Midtown meeting on Tuesday, December 10th at 6 o'clock. Again, we had a pre-printed agenda, ComStat report from the police department, code enforcement report. We had one item on that agenda, the comprehensive sign plan amendment for Bethune-Cookman University, and that was passed. Other than that, no major news. There were some updates on the festival that they had. That was a success, and they're looking at the dates to light up Midtown, make sure it doesn't coincide with somebody else, and kind of keep everything separate. Other than that, it was a good meeting.
Fantastic. Main Street. Right. And public? None. Staff?
Just a couple things, I'd like to everybody know, if you didn't see the paper and didn't watch the city commission last night, they approved the Yard Rock project. It was quite a big showing from the community there. There was a lot of happy people, the property owner and developer said that they were thrilled with the reception they received from the city. They think that's going to actually spin off and show some positive results. Also last night and as well as tonight, they're having live taping out at the band shell for the X Factor, one of the singing shows, and one of the finalists is one of our own, so were there last night. I know the mayor was on part of that last night. They're going to be there tonight where they're going to announce the winners. So if you get out of here soon, you're probably going to see a lot of people out there tonight and
8 o'clock.
participate.
Just when they
It's on the
announce
TV, it comes on.
the winner.
Yeah, probably towards the end of the show. Probably.
That's
But it was,
early
you
in
know,
the
they showed the band shell last night and all
We
the
got
people
some
there.
really good coverage.
Did
I'm
they?
sure we will tonight, yes. Yeah. The final, it's down to the final three, and each one of them, they're in their home city with remotes like this. And as they perform, they.
It was pretty cool.
They're doing really good promotion going on there for us. Also want to make sure everyone understands tonight's Mr. McGinnis's last meeting. He's put in his time. He'll be with us, and we're sorely going to miss him and appreciate everything he's done up to this point. He's done a lot of, spent a lot of time, extra meetings with our land development committee, and appreciate all the help he's given us. And the only other thing is on behalf of staff, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Wish everybody to see you all in January. I think we're back to our normal fourth Thursday in January. And supposed to have some new replacements for our vacancies.
Okay.
Because we'll have 3, right?
Yeah. We have.
I just want to make one comment, and I will keep it short in the interest of my last meeting. My only comment is, it's been a privilege to be on this board for the past 5 years. And what I always noticed about this board, and what the public always notices, this board tends to be the most civil of our citizen volunteer boards. And that certainly is the truth. And I think that's what makes us get along so well, that we always recognize the civility. So again, it's been a privilege. I will miss you all. You may see me on the other side of the lectern from time to time, if I feel there's some threat to a neighborhood.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to say how much we're going to miss having him here. He does his homework.
Yes.
And he's an excellent addition to this board. And if there's some way we can tie him to that chair, and I'd like to recommend that we do that. Actually, John, you've done an excellent job here. I'm real sorry to see you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same here.
See,
sir.
civility.
Yeah, it has been a pleasure working with you, and on this board, every day is a learning experience. And when we work and can talk things out among ourselves the way we've done, I think the minds such as yours helps the situation, because you put more into it than the average individual. So it's a welcome experience. So I want to say, I'm going to miss you. And if your phone rings and I'm on the other end, answer it, please.
Can I keep my land development card?
And Merry Christmas to each of you. Have a blessed holiday season.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Al.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Anything else? That's it?